Hey guys, welcome back to some more astrology. We're going to read about Gemini and the Decans in the sign of Gemini from the secret language of birthdays. I've had a tension headache off and on all day today. I don't know what it is, but it's been driving me crazy. All right, here we are. We're going to start with the Taurus Gemini Cusp, which is from May 19th to the 24th. Zodiac position is approximately 27 degrees of Taurus to 4 degrees of Gemini. My moon is within this. So my moon is in Gemini and it's at a little bit over 2 degrees. So it falls within this cusp. Central concept or image is energy. That is so fitting. It's insane. Season is late spring. Elements, earth and air. Qualities, fixed and mutable. Rulers, Venus and Mercury. Symbols, the bull and the twins. Modes, sensation and thought. The Taurus Gemini cusp is an overlapping and admixture of the second sign of the zodiac Taurus and the third sign of the zodiac Gemini. The TG cusp may be symbolically likened to the period around 14 years of age in the human life and literally falls at the beginning of late spring in the northern hemisphere. The TG cusp may be said to represent energy. During this period of the year, the prolific growth of plant life is apparent. The length of days grows increasingly longer, and the shorter nights warmer, both of which speed up the growth of vegetables, fruits, and herbs. In human development, at the age of 14, adolescence is usually underway, and the young teenager bids farewell to childhood. This is a period in which energy plays a key role, not only in terms of output, but input as well. The appetite increases enormously as growth and maturation suddenly take off. This is generally not an easy time, nor a well-regulated one. Both psychologically and physically, early adolescence brings transformative changes that alter an individual greatly, sometimes creating what seems to be a whole new person. The days which comprise the TG cusp reveal some of this manifestation of energy, not only in the earthy physical nature of Taurus, but also in airy Gemini activities involving thought, communication, nervous excitement, and energetic movement. The Taurus Gemini personality. In many ways, people born on the Taurus Gemini cusp may be spoken of as eternal adolescents. They are energetic, convincing, and prolific. Whatever it is they do, they like to do it a lot, because those born on this cusp are also versatile. However, they may wear themselves out, along with those around them, by seeking to do far too much, far too often. They need to learn to limit themselves and at least explore one avenue more thoroughly before moving on to another. However, when the dynamos born on this cusp are not actively pursuing something, they love to talk about what is going on around them. Life without communication would be a dull affair indeed. Those born on the TG cusp thrive on active verbal interchange and are usually talented at it. Sometimes, however, such interchange becomes a one-way street, with the Taurimini doing all the talking Every cusp personality comprises conflicting elements, being influenced by two very different adjacent signs. Because the Taurimini personality combines earthy, sensuous Taurus traits with airy, more unstable and expansive Gemini ones, conflicts between physical and mental considerations may surface. Sensation thought types, those born on this cusp, may lack a certain emotional sensitivity and not trust their intuitions enough. For this reason, they can mull over emotional matters excessively and at the same time seem rather cool or unsympathetic toward the feelings of others. Because of their frenetic pace, those born on the TG cusp are prone to burnout, both physical and mental. However, they stand a good chance of achieving lasting success if they can develop self-discipline and direct themselves efficiently. Some advice for the Taurimini: monitor the pace of your activities carefully. Seek to be more consistent and less casual in jettisoning people and ideas. Don't come on so strong. Turn off your mental motor from time to time. Confront your fears and insecurities. Some Taurimini attractions. People born on the Taurus and Gemini cusp are generally most attracted to other cusp people, particularly those born on the Aries-Taurus cusp, which is from April 19th to the 24th, and the Sagittarius and Capricorn cusp, which is from December 19th to the 25th. Some TG cusp notables: Malcolm X, Grace Jones, Cher, Henry Rousseau, Gina Bachar, Arthur Conan Doyle, Mary Cassatt, Joan Collins, Bob Dylan, and Queen Victoria. My head. And now we are on the first decan of Gemini, and that is from May 25th to June 2nd. It's from approximately 3 degrees to 13 degrees of Gemini. The central image is freedom. The season is late spring. Element is air. Quality is mutable. Ruler is Mercury. Symbol the twins. And mode is thought. The first decan of Gemini takes freedom as its central image. This period can be symbolically compared to a time in a young person's life when striving for independence and freedom of thought become very important. High rebelliousness is often part of this process. Injustice is keenly felt and all forms of tyranny despised. However, by only defining a stance against certain established attitudes, some people at this age can be actually limiting their horizons rather than expanding them. According to the grand cycle of life, the first decan of Gemini falls approximately at the age when most teenagers are in the thick of high school. Ugh. Consequently, the days which comprise Gemini I reveal an individual expressing individuality, enlarging on social and financial skills, cultivating the ability to assess the worth of things, and dealing with problems of a personal and intellectual nature. Ideas and ideals come to have particular importance. This period of life can be especially painful for those who are unable to fit in with the crowd. The Gemini I personality. Gemini I people are fighters who stand up for what they believe in. Should they adopt an overtly combative stance, they are, of course, sure to arouse antagonism. Because of their strong beliefs concerning freedom of action and thought, They often wish not only to protect those disenfranchised or downtrodden members of society, but also to liberate them from their oppressors. Gemini ones are usually in constant and rapid motion. They do not like to waste time in needless discussion. Most often, they take the attitude that if they are not quickly understood, then that is the other person's problem. The swiftness of their thought processes often mirrors a heightened state of activity. The technical abilities of Gemini ones are usually well developed, and many born in this period possess remarkable hand-eye coordination, making them skillful in all sorts of crafts and artistic pursuits. Because they can move so quickly from one thought or project to the next, Gemini ones may leave a trail of unfinished projects behind them. However, having children or taking on weighty long-term concerns may eventually force them to face the responsibilities of maintenance, care, and upkeep. What at first seems an imposition of limitation and burden may in fact be just the impetus for Gemini ones to blossom as people and put their talents to truly constructive use. Without such responsibilities, those born in this period may wind up indulging in all sorts of erratic behavior or even getting into deep trouble. Gemini ones will generally have to develop a means of dealing with their aggressions. Repressing them inevitably leads to depression, expressing them directly to friction and strife. Physical activities may prove very useful in this respect, both as outlets and for grounding more chaotic energies. In any case, seeking out and responding to challenges seems essential for the health of Gemini ones. They suffer greatly when there is little to do, or when isolated from those who share their interests and concerns. Some advice for Gemini ones. Work to finish what you start. Develop the patience to interact fully with others. Your ideals may have to be sacrificed at times for the sake of harmony. Avoid escapism in its manifold guises. Keep busy and happy, but do not neglect tending to your inner emotional life. Some Gemini 1 notables: Miles Davis, Mary Wells Lawrence, Duke of Marlborough, Henry Kissinger, Isadora Duncan, Jim Thorpe, Gladys Knight, John F. Kennedy, LaToya Jackson, Peter the Great, Agnes Varda, Clint Eastwood, Brooke Shields, Marilyn Monroe, Thomas Hardy, and Sally Kellerman. I need to pause this for a second. And now we are on the second decan of Gemini, which is from June 3rd to the 10th. And it's approximately from 12 to 20 degrees of Gemini. The central image is new language, season late spring, element is air, quality is mutable, ruler is Mercury, symbol the twins, and mode is thought. The second decan of Gemini takes new language as its central image. According to the grand cycle of life, this period can be likened to the time when a young person is preparing to leave high school, either to enter the working world or to continue on to college. During this transition filled with uncertainty and promise, important career decisions must be made, planned out, and verbalized. The days which comprise Gemini II point to many of the areas which come into play at this juncture. Critical thinking becomes increasingly important, and a concomitant ability to express ideas in a written and verbal form. Accuracy and consistency are crucial. but so are imagination and vision. Finally, a strong impression of individuality must be conveyed, and with it a well-rounded character that recognizes both comic and tragic elements in life. The Gemini II personality. Gemini II people strive to be original, even to the point of developing their own very special language. For these expressive individuals, however, the word language should not be taken to mean only the written or spoken word. For them, body language and other unspoken forms of expression can be powerful and evocative ways to communicate. Gemini IIs are unusual and show little desire to hide the fact. Indeed, sharing themselves with an appreciative audience that truly understands what they have to offer gives them great satisfaction. As far as their speech is concerned, Gemini IIs may not realize that both the language they employ and the message they convey can be difficult for the average person to understand. Consequently, they may wind up very frustrated when the listener doesn't get it. Part of the problem is that when explaining a point or defending a position, some Gemini IIs use a barrage of words, or perhaps cast out several different lines of argument rather than just relying on a single carefully chosen one. In their intense desire to communicate, the meaning may get lost in the shuffle. Regardless of the complexity of their thoughts, Gemini IIs tend to be highly direct and outspoken, sometimes too much so. They are not specialists in flattery, soft language, or talking around the subject. Capable of biting wit, irony, and sarcasm, most born in this period know how to hurt and even how to rub it in. If they wish to remain successful and well-liked, it is important that they remain judicious and sparing in their use of such barbs. Those born in Gemini II can be equally hard on themselves. Indeed, there is a certain type of Gemini II person who worries over every last detail. Much of this worry reflects a fear of being inadequate, looking foolish, or somehow failing others. Such Gemini IIs must learn to develop a more free and easy attitude toward themselves and realize that making mistakes is just part of being human. Quite naturally, Gemini IIs usually love debate and discussion and can certainly hold their own in an argument. Furthermore, they are not above using their seductive powers and charm to win out over the opposition. Indeed, winning is a high priority for many Gemini IIs. Probably the worst thing for those born in this period is to be ignored or not taken seriously. Some advice for Gemini IIs: try not to come on in a rush. Be clear in what you say, but also diplomatic. Don't be inattentive to the impression you make or the idea others have of you. There is great value in silence. Take the time to develop deep friendships. Some Gemini II notables: Josephine Baker, Allen Ginsberg, Judith Malina, Dennis Weaver, Laurie Anderson, Bill Moyers, Thomas Mann, Elizabeth Bowen. Prince was also a Gemini II. Barbara Bush, Frank Lloyd Wright, Cole Porter, Judy Garland. I remember Judy Garland from The Wizard of Oz. I remember my mom playing that movie over and over again when I was little. That's one of my mom's favorite movies. And I had a crush on the Tin Man. Yeah, I don't understand either. I don't know. Okay, so now we're on to Gemini III. Gemini, the third decan of Gemini, from June 11th to the 18th. Approximately from 19 to 28 degrees of Gemini. The central image is the seeker. Season late spring, element air, quality mutable. Ruler is Mercury, symbol the twins. Mode is thought. The third decan of Gemini takes the seeker as its central image. This period can be compared to the time when a young person must say goodbye to the teenage years and actively prepare to find a place for him or herself in the adult world. Seeking a job, residence, friends, perhaps a mate, or searching for stimulating ideas and new horizons are activities which engage people of this age. The days which comprise Gemini III point to issues which now emerge, being strong enough to confront and persuade, to seek adventure and roll back frontiers, and finally to invest in the future. The seeker must be prepared to go as far as is necessary and to cut loose from self-imposed limitations and doubts which can only hold him or her back. This is a time of fearless exploration and of learning through life experience. The Gemini III personality. Gemini III people are adventurers who seek to go beyond ordinary limitations of time and space. Those born in this period seem to revel in physical activities, but in fact, it is the transcending of the physical, a striving for the metaphysical, which drives them on. Gemini IIIs tend to be restless types, constantly on the move, in their personal life from one person or location to the next, in business or career from one project to the next, in their art from one period or technique to the next. Their style is to remain unattached and thus free to progress as far as possible. Such characteristics make it hard for others to keep up with them. Indeed, partners or friends involved in relationships with Gemini IIIs may at times feel excluded or simply left behind. Those who complement Gemini IIIs well understand their adventuresomeness and wisely do not seek to possess them or hold them back. Often Gemini IIIs shape and direct the workings of a family with the same ease and facility that they demonstrate with their work. Those born in this period usually remain highly sensitive to life around them, and in the same way that they are able to understand the nature of different materials can bring together diverse points of view and conflicting personalities, somehow finding a way to keep everyone happy in the process. Sometimes those born in this period spend so much time pleasing or motivating others that they forget to reward themselves with those small indulgences that lend joy to life. One thing is for sure, life is rarely dull with a Gemini III around. Those born in this period do not necessarily have to travel too far off lands to find challenge and adventure. Whether exploring uncharted waters in the areas of cooking, sports, finance, interpersonal relations, or raising a family, Gemini IIIs keep others guessing as to their next move. However, some born in this energetic period may also blind themselves to reality, and in their highly positive orientation insist that everything is going fine, when in fact, it is not. Such Gemini III people must strive to see not only the world, but also themselves more objectively, and to resist the tendency to deny the darker areas of life. Some advice for Gemini IIIs. Sometimes what is right in front of you is just as interesting as something risky or exotic. It may not be incumbent on you to influence the course of things. Allow yourself to express negativity when it is called for. Give yourself easy rewards too. Some Gemini III notables. Jacques Cousteau, Jeanette Rankin, George Bush, Anne Frank, Harriet Beecher Stowe, Waylon Jennings, Adam Smith, Barbara McClintock, James Brown, Paul McCartney, and Isabella Rossellini. And that's the Decans of Gemini. Hope you guys liked it. And until the next sign that we do, peace out.